And so the Lord did choose Saul, make no mistake about that, but he chose Saul because that's what the people wanted. This time, though, God is going to choose a king for himself. And he's found this king among Jesse's sons in the town of Bethlehem. Now, I know, when you hear Bethlehem, your eyes get big. You're like, Kyle, that's like one of two biblical cities I know. Jerusalem and Bethlehem, Easter and Christmas. I know that one. All right, here's the deal, though. At this point in history, Bethlehem has very little significance. It's a small town. The most significant event in Bethlehem at this point in history is that when Jacob was traveling through the land, his wife Rachel went into labor when they were journeying, and she went into hard labor, and she actually died. And so what they did is they built a tomb just north of Bethlehem where Rachel was. That is the most significant event in Bethlehem at this point in history. Now, later on, of course, another mother in Bethlehem will have a son who will take away the pain of childbearing and death itself, but that's another story. A happy coincidence, but a different story. Yes, the events of Ruth take place in Bethlehem, but that book hasn't been written yet because nobody cares about the book of Ruth because nobody knows that a future king is coming from Bethlehem. Nobody knows that except the Lord. And so the Lord says to Samuel, "Fill your horn with oil and go." Now remember, we call the king of Israel the Messiah, the Mashiach, the anointed one. And so he takes a horn, like an animal horn, and he fills it with oil, and he will go to anoint the son of Jesse. Whenever you anointed something with oil, it was symbolic of the Lord's presence and the Lord's Spirit. And it's actually often accompanied by God's Spirit. That's why even today as Christians, we still anoint people with oil because the Lord's Spirit accompanies that act often.